up, everyone? We are back. Today, we're going to discuss the secret to never running out of marketing ideas again. Welcome to the FBU podcast, where we help gym owners get more clients, make more money, and have more freedom. If you guys haven't, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. This way, you get uploaded all this information right away whenever it comes out. And make sure if you like the content today, you go and you leave us a 5-star review because that tells us that we're doing a really, really good job. But it's your host, Coach AB or Anthony Bevilacqua, alongside my esteemed colleague here, Vince Gabriel. So what's up, Vince? How you doing,
What's
buddy?
up, brother? How are you? Great,
Good.
good looking hair today. I'll tell you.
Always on point.
That mohawk, man.
Always on point. Always.
You look like Hawk from the show. What's this show? The Karate Kid show. Cobra Kai. Yeah, you look like Hawk from Cobra Kai. So if you watch Cobra Kai, AB is a mohawk like Hawk from Cobra Kai.
I've never seen Cobra Kai. I
Oh
watched
my God,
after the first
amazing.
episode, and then
You're a little young to make all the connections. So
I saw Karate Kid.
did you?
Not that young.
All right.
All right, let's get rolling, man. Let's talk about what's the secret? What's the secret to never running out of marketing ideas? And I actually want to plug something with you lately. I didn't tell you this, and I always hate to give you compliments, but it seems like lately your copywriting skills and your marketing skills have definitely improved in the sense like your headlines lately have been getting everybody. It seems like you wrote an email about closing down your performance business. That was a good one that got me hooked. You know, sometimes I just kind of skim through the emails, but
Well, you do get a lot of emails from me.
yeah, but lately the titles have been getting me, and that's the key to the headline is the ad for the ad. So as
That's
you
right.
said,
Yep. Yep.
listen,
As I've stolen from somebody else. So yeah, all the smart things you've ever heard me say have been completely ripped off. For full disclosure. I mean, maybe not everything, but most things. Here's the secret. So yesterday I got an email that no parent wants to get. And the email was from my 9-year-old daughter's teacher that said, "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Gabriel, I'd like to schedule the time to talk to you today." You can always tell the urgency of the matter when they tell you when they want to talk to you. So if they say this week, it's not that bad. If they say this week or next week, it's nothing. But if they say today, then okay, this is a problem. So Vanessa calls me immediately. She's like, "Oh, my heart is in my throat." Like, oh, and I'm like, and to be honest with you, I was like a little concerned, right? I was like, I wonder what this is. And I kind of knew in the back of my head what it was. And so we get the email at like 1:00, and we can't talk till 3:00. We were busy like till 3:00. So Vanessa's like waiting around, and she's like pacing back and forth. I'm like, calm down, it's gonna be fine. And the teacher gets on, and she's like, Bella's having some trouble in school. And the other day, we were all reading books in class, and everyone's supposed to be reading this book. And all of a sudden, I look over, and Bella's on the side of the classroom reading another book totally unrelated to what we were doing in class. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, and then the other day, I was trying to give her directions and instructions, and Bella was staring over my head, looking at, what was behind me and not focusing at all on what we were talking about. And halfway into the conversation, I'm just like, kind of like, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, just like her father, right? Right. And it's just like, I knew we were getting a call at some point. Like, they've been telling us this stuff since she was young, because she struggles with the same focus problems that I have. Right. And so we talked to her at night, and she wasn't in trouble because she didn't do anything wrong. Right. She just was like, that's something that she struggles with. Right. She struggles with that. And, the point of this is, that story, right, Where other people like will look at that as this horrific time, or there's like, oh, my kid, blah, blah, blah. No, I look at that as two things. One, I look at that as this is a great experience for my daughter because she's going to learn and she's going to get more focused from this situation. And my wife and I have put together a plan to help her be focused. That includes we're going to take her to our friend who's an acupuncturist. We're going to start giving her a little bit of a better breakfast. We'll start giving her what's called a meat and nuts breakfast because that increases levels of dopamine in the brain. And then maybe we'll dabble in some supplementation or something like that. Right. So it got us in check to put us on. So I look at it as a valuable thing. We had a good conversation with her. And the other thing it did, it gave me a subject for my email, and then it gave me a topic for this podcast. Okay, so it's a beautiful thing. Like the call yesterday was a great thing that happened, and I believe that's the only attitude that we can have in life, right? Especially now, that's the only way that we can go through life. It's like, what happens? Okay, what did you learn from it? What did you take? How did you improve? How did you get better? How did you make progress? And then move on and tell a story about it, right? That's really all you can ask for. So so this story with Bella was the subject of my email, and I got more responses about this email than all the other emails I've written probably in the last 3 weeks, because like probably it resonated with people, right? People resonate because there's probably other people that have focus issues, other people that have challenges like this, right? But the secret to never running out of ideas for marketing is two things. It's two things. It's two secrets, right? One is awareness, right? One is awareness, that you're aware of what's going on around you. And that awareness allows you to tie it back to something of value to your target market, right? So I use this lesson to tell people that whatever they've got, whatever shortcoming they got, maybe to them it's not focus, right? But whatever shortcoming that they have, that is just information, that's education, that is something that they can use to get stronger from. And I make the connection of there's a great book called David and Goliath that Malcolm Gladwell. Have you read it, AB?
No.
Great book by Malcolm Gladwell. Strongly suggested, but it talks about all how to look at your weaknesses as strengths, right? So I went into the story of in the email. I kind of told the story of my lack of focus, and my challenges with focus have made me a much more disciplined person. Because if I'm not disciplined, right, that focus challenge that I have will take over my life, and I won't be nearly as successful as I could be if I wasn't. So a lack of focus has made me more disciplined. It has forced me to do that. So that was a lesson. So I took that story and I tied the lesson to my market, of something of value to my market. So the first secret to never ending ideas that you can put out to your target market, whatever that is this awareness, and is that and then from that awareness that you're making the connection. The second part, AB, is preparation, right? If you are prepared, you will never ever run out of marketing ideas.
What do you mean?
Okay. So think about this. Think about the sitting in front of the Word doc with a blank screen. Okay. And then I want to grab something. Is it in here? Yes. Hold on one second.
All right, guys. Well, while he's holding, make sure you head on over to the link in the description there to sign up for the MMIC program, which is. All right.
Recording this out of what were you saying?
I was in the middle of doing a commercial almost, man.
Sorry.
They need to get it. If they're interested and they like what they hear, they need to get started with us. And the best way to do that is with our MMIC, which is our Marketing Master Influencer Group.
All right. Save it for later there, sleazy sales guy. All right, come on.
Sales guy, I was dead air. He walked away in the middle of recording.
That's true. Actually, for those of you not watching on video, I went and I'm in the FU headquarters, and it's kind of cool. Actually, I have this big, like, 5 level shelf where I keep all of the things that we give to the SPF Mastermind members. So one of them is this. One of them is this big laminated list of words. And if you think about, and we also have an AB. You're going to love this because I just updated it, but I just re-updated the FBU copywriting guide. And the FBU copywriting guide is all of the best headlines that I've ever used. And then all of the and I say headlines for sales pages, email subject lines, all that stuff. But not only the best ones I've used, that I've taken some other swipe files from guys like Dan Kennedy and Jay Abraham, and I've taken some of the best headlines that they've ever used and put them in our guide and related them to like a fitness industry type thing. So it's a huge, this FBU copywriting guide, which is unfortunately only available to members of the MMIC, but this guide that we put, and Mastermind, this guide that we put in there, think about now you sitting in front of a blank screen, right? And then think about you sitting at your desk, right? You're sitting up in your chair and you got this laminated sheet with all great, powerful words to use. Over here, you got your copywriting headline, you got your copywriting guide with all samples of different types of headlines that have worked before. If you're writing a sales page for a 6-week challenge or something, you have all great templates for bullets that, like instead of writing a bullet from scratch, you look at and you use, a template or a formula. So the preparation comes down to what do you have around you? What do you have in front of you? Right. So I don't write from scratch. Right. I write with all of these tools around me all the time. And the other thing that I think is very powerful to have is we just did this yesterday in the Surge, but we create a customer avatar, right? And a customer avatar is who are you writing to? And do you have that in front of you? So now imagine you have all these tools in front of you in terms of great, powerful words that trigger emotion. You have sample formula headlines. You have sample bullet points. You have an outline of your target market. What you got an endless supply of things that can give you ideas, right? So that I have a bunch of other stuff, but I've been yakking for a little bit. So I'm going to give you a chance to talk now, AB. But that's what I mean by being prepared. So the first thing is this awareness, right, of what's going on around you. And then the second thing is this preparation is what do you got around you that you're using to extract it doesn't matter what it is, AB. It could be a social media post. It could be an email. It could be a topic for a landing page. It could be a magazine. Let's show you this. This is a great episode. I hope people watch the video of this. So I got all kinds of cool stuff here. All right. But it could be a magazine. Like we just did an ad for a magazine here, right? It could be what different headlines could I put here, right? And then we did the inside.
Vince, how much caffeine are you on today?
None. So that's a lie, but yeah, I haven't had any caffeine since this morning though. You know what I did, AB, that I feel energized? I walked today for 90 minutes on the treadmill with my heart rate. It's called cardiac output training. But I walked today for 90 minutes on the treadmill while I listened to a seminar. And every time I do that, I feel amazing after I do it. So I have had caffeine today, but it was like early this morning, 5 a.m. But so here's the topic there, but there's the headline from Twinkies and ring dings to turkey and almonds. So I have this stuff around me. So the preparation part is like what's around you when you're sitting down. If you try and sit down and there's a blank slate every time and you're like this and you're like, oh, what am I going to write about today? You're done. You're cooked. You're cooked. You're not in the right, frame of mind. You don't have the right tools. You're just not prepared. So part of it is this preparation. I got a lot more stuff on this, but
Well,
What do you got? Anything?
let's digest everything that you just said because
Yeah. I
you
don't
must
even know
have
what I
that big
just said.
cup of coffee today because it's still working. You're flying today, and I love it, man. I love the energy, and that's good. That's what everybody's probably so super excited. They're like, "Oh my god, how do I get my hands on this laminated sheet?" Well, you go to the link in the description. So let's. I kind of want to circle back to something that you said too, and something that we do. So I make a lot of content, and
Yes.
the content that I make is pretty regular. I do 3 times a week, decent amount of content that goes out. But again, it's all in preparation. So the first video that I make a week is speaking to new clients who've never entered our gym. The second video I make is to our active members, somebody in the gym. And the third video that I make a week is for old clients and people who've been with
Yeah.
us. And then I just kind of craft the message accordingly. So basically, what I do is I pick for someone who's an inquiry person who's never seen our gym. I literally write the name of our best member in the corner.
Love it.
And then that's how I start thinking about what I'm going to say. Okay, what will Noelle want to click on YouTube or Facebook what's the topic that you want to hit? And then I come up with the title. And then from the title, it just kind of all flows. And something that you said the other day, which I really love, and it's so true. People are drawn to a negative headline. They really are. It's so true. If you could write a negative, so I did a post, a video on basically like cheating on the diet. And I put the title of it, I Can't Stop Cheating. And it wasn't even
Nice. That's
about
good.
me, but so many more people clicked it, watched it because of the title, because that negative association, like Anthony can't stop cheating, what's going on? So today's video was it was supposed to be directed to older clients who've been with us who are not with us anymore. So reactivation was what the goal is. And it's based on one of the conversations that I had with an old client. She went on keto. And that's like totally opposite of what I've taught her. So I basically talked about how she went on keto. This is what happened. And I don't even have notes anymore because you're just basically telling stories. And, but again, I think it's just as simple as that. Picking your topics that you're going to talk about, like
Yep.
who you're directing your message to, how many times a week you're going to craft this message, whether it's a video or whether it's an email or whatever. And then have your target, put the person's name in the corner because that allows you to specify who you're talking to.
Beautiful
And then
idea. I think that's awesome. And that kind of goes along with being prepared.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying is having a structure to follow, right? And I think that's brilliant. We do something similar with our GFP emails when we put content out, which I think that's great. But yes, I think that having some kind of a structure, and some people do like a recipe of the week. So like every Friday that you're going to do a recipe. Well, that helps you get stuff out there. For that. So I think that's a really, really great idea.
And I think we should also say too. I mean, we're talking all these big ideas. If you're someone who's afraid to get in front of the camera or afraid to put yourself out there, just take action and just do something, even if it's something small. Like Vince said, a recipe of the day. It takes nothing to do that. It really doesn't. You could find the recipe on Pinterest or whatever and just copy the recipe. This is the recipe that I used today. Well, I know you'll like it. That's it. But that's content. That's content. And I think you just got to get over the hump of being afraid of, you know, remember you got to think about who's going to listen to it. If I was talking to trainers, they would probably hate everything that I'm saying, but I'm not talking to trainers, so I don't care what their opinion is because they're not buying from my facility. So I don't care if Vince Gabriel agrees with what I'm saying fitness wise. It doesn't matter as long as Nancy, one of our clients, loves what I'm saying. That's all that matters.
I think there's a big fear of that in the fitness industry.
Huge.
Of you know, even guys going to the point, and I kind of went through a phase like this when I started, like making sure that you didn't put a video out with your clients like that were using perfect form and stuff, and like it's more to impress like other trainers than it is the clients, because your client doesn't know what a bad kettlebell swing looks like, right? But like making sure that like they're packing the neck, right? And that's not to say that you should use bad form in your gym, but so I want to get into and I talk about this in Surge a lot, but I want to give it here. I told AB we're going to give a lot of value today, but the three things that when you're sitting out in front of a computer screen, or you're deciding what to do out on social, um, what should it actually do? And it really is narrowed down to three things, and that is educate, entertain, and inspire. And that's kind of what you're looking to do. If you can put out a piece of content and you can say that this is it's going to make someone smarter, it's going to make someone laugh, and it's going to make someone cry or get off the couch, um, you're on the right track. And when I say, get off the couch, I want you to know that in your marketing, you have to think about how many emails people get a day, how many Facebook posts they see, how many Instagram pictures they see, right? And you have to think about that when you're putting something out there with your content. And you have to think about how many things that and all the stuff that they have to weed through, and what is the thing that you need to do, say, on your videos, on your emails, on your copy, whatever, that's going to make someone decide to stop on you. And I think that people don't, they just put stuff out there, which is fine. But I think that you almost got to, like, kind of right before you write the subject line. So you mentioned the subject line that I used, and the one you're talking about that I used was when we relaunched our sports performance program. The headline wasn't "New Sports Performance Program." The headline was "Farewell Gabriel Sports Performance." And "Farewell Gabriel Sports Performance" triggers something that happened, right? And so in the mind of the client, they are thinking of the drama. They're thinking of, well, what happened? I'm doing a newspaper ad that's acting as a press release, and the headline will be "Local gym gets crushed by pandemic." Right. And so think about that. Like, the newspaper is 4 pages long. Half of the newspaper is ads. There's usually one other bogus article in there. What do you think they're going to read? Right. It's game over because of that headline. So a form of that is entertainment. Why do you think that? What is the magazine? Not Us Weekly. No, yeah, like the National Enquirer, like the National Enquirer, like those things that are on where it's like all the stuff about all these celebrities and things like that, like that's the clickbaity type of thing that gets people, captures attention. It's funny, I'm watching the Tiger Woods documentary. Me, Vanessa and I are watching that, and it is unbelievable, like the the scale, how famous he actually was, and how that there were more New York Post cover articles on the Tiger Woods case than there was about 9/11.
Crazy.
Think about that. And each one is as clickbaity as the next. It is unbelievable, but people are drawn to the drama. So you got to think about what you're doing, to capture people's attention. So educate, entertain, and inspire. Those are kind of the three things. If you're sitting down to write something, to create something, what are the things that you can do to get them to feel that they got value from your content?
I want to circle back to the negative headline again, Vince, because I think like I said, lately you've been doing that very, very well, because I know it's not only me that's clicking the emails, but from what everyone's saying too, they're like, that email got me, that email got me. So what is it that, how do you spin a title toward the negative? Like, what is some of the things that you would do to spin a title negative? Is there certain words that you would use, or?
Yeah. So to be honest with you, I use this sheet a lot. There's a lot of words on this sheet that have, some type of, uh, you know, uh, they're called power words, right? And they trigger a more emotional response, right? And so that's kind of what you have to think about is when you see something that doesn't trigger some kind of emotion. So like I'm just reading a few of them here, like, one of them is like wickedly effective, right? And it's just like there's certain words that, another one here is excruciating, nerve shattering, right? And so start to think about what are some words that would get people to almost be like, you got to almost think about that they're sleeping, right? And what is a word they could read or a phrase they could read that would like kind of like pop them a little bit, like give them a little jolt, give them a little wake up, give them a little thing. And that's what I think about. Like when I write a headline for an email, I'm like, okay, they're getting 1,000 emails today. What's it going to take? What do I need to say? Obviously without like cursing and without like, that, but it's, things like that. But, and I see people doing stuff like that, which is just so stupid because you're just going to get spammed and, no one's going to read your stuff anyway. But
That's a great point, man. I really like that. I really think that that's great advice too for anyone listening to this. So actually, I want to shout out one of our members too, Anthony. He messaged me asking about like how do I get enough confidence to start putting out content the way that I put out content, because again I put out a lot of content. But
yeah, you do.
Anthony, if you're listening to this is everything that he's saying is exactly how you do it. You just kind of take action and just do it. That's it. That's just what it comes down to. And I think that that is phenomenal. Use that sheet that we have, Anthony, and that's going to help you craft those. I think the headline is the most important thing, because even when, and what I've noticed, again, I put out a ton of content, and what I've noticed, people don't even watch or pay attention to it. They just watch it. They watch a couple of seconds of it, and they're like, "This guy knows his stuff." Click. That's just how it goes. I don't think that people like, even like your email today. The headline caught me. I skimmed through it, and that was it. So
Well,
so I,
what you're doing by what you do with your videos, right? Um, we're in a world right now where, and much more than ever, we're in a world of complete indecision. And you can't control other people's behavior, right? The only thing you can control is that you're there, right? And AB, one thing I love about you is that you not only take action faster than any gym owner I've met, but you're consistent. Like you show up, and when you say you're going to do something, like it gets done and done fast. And I think that that's a part of content marketing that people don't get. Like they write an email and they write one email for a week, for a month, and then they stop for a month. And it's like, if you really want to get something out of this stuff, and that was one of the challenges of, the CEO mastermind recently, was make an offer a day, right? Once a day, you're making some kind of an offer, and putting something out there. So I think that that's another big thing is making um, a commitment to sticking to a framework, just very much like this podcast. Like we have a commitment to do a regular podcast, right? And
even though you kicked me off for the
I,
past 2 weeks.
yeah, I did. I've been.
Right, so if you're not happy with that, make sure you send Vince a thing.
Well, kicked you off, but I didn't not record a podcast. So I did record podcasts on my
Yeah,
own. I just didn't. I just didn't have enough time to get on the Zoom and do the whole spiel.
they're not as good.
That,
That's the general consensus.
well, only the clients listening can make that decision. Maybe you know that.
All right, man.
Okay.
I think did we miss anything, or can we?
No, I wanna talk about one more thing, and this is, because I think it's really, stories are so powerful in marketing, and I think that sometimes people don't realize how many stories they're actually sitting on. Um, and even some stories about yourself. Like I kind of almost forgot about the story that a couple years into my business, that I was literally, my bank account was at zero. And I stood in the parking lot and I told my best friend, who's now my CFO, Mike Waldron, that like we were doing really good. And then I made some dumb decisions and now we have like no money in the bank. And and maybe it's because that situation was painful, but when I really think about it, that is like a perfect story for me to tell in the fitness industry as a successful gym owner, right? That I was once broke, like had no money, and now I have plenty of money. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like and I didn't even realize that that's a really a story that will resonate because a lot of people are in that situation. The other story about myself is I technically the most money I ever made as a personal trainer was $37,000 a year. Okay. And then I started a gym and the gym generated 7 figures after several years. Right. So then I have a story of $37,000 personal trainer to 7-figure gym owner. Right. You probably have a story like that too, AB. Big box personal trainer, right? That was working 80 hours a week for 20 bucks an hour or whatever. And then all of a sudden you go off, you start your own business, and now you're this successful gym owner, right? Your clients have stories like this too. So you have stories of clients in training in your gym that maybe they had cancer, right? Or maybe they, ended up losing 80 pounds, that like you've never even told those stories, or they've never even told those stories to you. So I think that being on the hunt for these types of stories, and then this is where you can draw a lot of your content from, is the source. And the one best place that you can go to, the best place to go to is just have really good conversations with your clients. But the other best place is go to your Google reviews and read them, and really read them in depth and be like, hey, are there any stories that really kick out that I'm not even telling that we could definitely be using and leveraging? So that's the other one I wanted to talk about, is digging for great stories.
I think also you can even use stories of yourself too. So
Yeah,
one of the stories
absolutely.
that I always tell the members this, and for years I was like, I shouldn't talk about that because I'm supposed to be like the role model, but they want to hear that you mess up, you know. So I tell them all the time, my weakness is Doritos. If the Doritos are around, you know that they know the whole story with the Doritos, but that's like
Regular or Cool Ranch?
Cool Ranch is nasty, man. The
Oh,
regular,
I love Cool Ranch.
nah, it makes your breath smell weird. Uh, but yes, Doritos is my thing. So I relate it back to them. I say, well, you know, Doritos are my trigger food. I know it sets me off. I know if it's in the house, I'm gonna eat the entire bag, so I don't buy it. Or if I'm gonna buy it, I buy the little bag, so I can't go crazy. But again, it's just relating it to them, and they like when they hear that, they're like, "Oh, Anthony struggles with the same thing I do too," and you become more relatable to them. And that could be whatever, you know. It could be maybe you're just not as motivated to work out, and maybe telling that story to your clients, or you know, now that I started when I was young, I was 18 when I started, and I always would hear the excuses from the clients. Oh, you'll see one day when you have kids. You know, you'll see one day when you have kids. When you have kids, you have no time. Blah, 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 blah. But now that I have kids, I have business, I have other responsibilities. I still make time for my fitness. So that's another story that I can tell. So look within too, because you have stories of adversity that you've overcome fitness wise that you can relate to your clients, and maybe they'll see you in a different light because then they'll think, oh, he or she is not a robot. They're actually a real person who struggles with this.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just is full circle to what we talked about in the very beginning, is like anything that happens to you in your life is an email, is a post, anything. And you can spin it, and even if it's something that's not that exciting, you can make it exciting. Like technically, one of my best read emails ever at GFP years ago was I was in line at Trader Joe's, and there was like a little scuffle behind me. And it wasn't like a physical like fist fight, but it was just like two people bitching at each other, right? And so um I can't remember the exact headline, but the exact email subject line was, I got into a fight at Trader Joe's, or something, or the fight at Trader Joe's. It was something like that. But it was like, it was just something, I was just online at a grocery store and these people are cackling behind me. And it's just, I turned it into a piece of content. Right. And so you just got to look at, and a lot of times too, like you can take a lot of really negative experiences in your life that you were like, man, this is kind of like, honestly, like that call yesterday could have gone in a totally different direction in terms of how I thought about it and my mindset and everything like that. I could have gone down this dark hole of, oh, my daughter's fucked. Like she's not going to like be able to go to school and all that. And no, but it's like, no, it's like now that I have this platform and all of you as gym owners have this platform, you are able to use that stuff and spin it in a way that allows you to get over it faster. And it's almost like this content and creating content is like a little bit of a form of therapy, right? It's a little bit of therapy that enables you to handle challenges, because then you can kind of bring it down from a level of personal pain, and bring it down to a level of, I'm transforming this personal pain into this educational opportunity that's adding value to other people's lives. And then all of a sudden you take something bad and you've swung it into something good, and the sky's the limit for that. So all right, we beat this up pretty good.
Yeah, there you go, guys. So all you got to do is just take action on all this stuff. That's the next step. So stop listening to this. Well, first of all, hit that subscribe button. Second, then go leave us a 5-star review. And then pause this, go and create content for your gym. Make a schedule, do something, get on a routine where you're doing it regularly, and create everything that we said here. Create that content. Awareness, preparation, prepare yourself, and go and do it and watch the money fly in. All right, guys. Well, again, like we said, if you want to join us, just head over to that link in the description. That'll be information for our MMIC group, which is amazing. There's so much information flies around in there.
Yeah, you did an amazing video in the MMIC earlier this week that talked about new home buyers and what to do with new home buyers, which I thought was awesome. It was probably one of those popular threads we've had. There was like 60 comments on the thread, which was awesome. So good job.
Yeah, I pride myself in being the best. All right, guys. Well, again, if you want Vince to record these podcasts without me, if you want it to be boring, then just listen to the rest. But all the ones with me on there are the best. That's what we're going to call it. All right, guys. Well, make sure you do those things and take some action.